What is going on YouTube? This is your old pal Rhino, and I am thrilled to be back here at Hot Point Davis Arena at 4400 Shepherdsville Road, home of Ohio Valley Wrestling. Tomorrow's superstars today. And today, I am pleased to welcome in a very special young lady who's going to be sitting in with us. A wonderful young lady, an athlete with a wonderful story of survival to tell, not just in the ring, but outside the ring. I am pleased to welcome in the Queen of the Garden herself, Miss Teagan Thorne. Teagan, thank you very much for sitting in with us. I know we've been in contact via a mutual friend of ours named SK.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the first thing I'd like to ask you is how did you get your start in Ohio Valley Wrestling? Or let's backtrack. How did you decide to pursue a career in the professional wrestling business, and why OVW?
So I have been in the professional wrestling business for 5 years now. I started at a promotion that I was going to when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
My dad did some wrestling on the indies for, it's been almost 20 years now, but his home promotion is where I started out at.
Mm-hmm.
I was there coming up from the time I was 16. I wrestled there regularly right before the pandemic, had to wait, and then started up again right after.
Right.
So I was there. I started getting a following, started going other places and just trying to branch out more because I knew I wanted to explore. And eventually I got around to some other promotions that were around the area.
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing more traveling around the area. And eventually I got into contact with somebody who's like a family friend of mine who is one of the agents down here,
Mm-hmm.
J-Mo. I've known him since I was little, but he was like, hey, he's like, you're putting yourself out there, you're getting eyes. And he's like, I'm putting in a good word for you and everything whenever you're ready. And eventually I put myself out there, started coming down here, helping out and everything. And I've wanted to wrestle here. It's been on my bucket list since I started.
Well, who wouldn't want to wrestle here? I know I've had several people that I personally know that have been a fan as long as I have that say, if you want to get your starts, not only is OVW one of the toughest places to get your start at, but it's the place if you want to make an impact, because I'm pretty sure you've seen the show Wrestlers that
Yes.
that they say OVW is the last true independent promotion as far as feeding system goes. And I was going to ask before we go any further, you mentioned during COVID, how do you feel that affected you as far as your adventures, especially with the lockdown happening?
So I started training in July 2019. So I was training for a couple months. I ended up ring announcing, but all that got put to a halt when the pandemic happened and when everything got put on lockdown in like March of 2020, I think is when it was.
Sounds about right, yeah.
And so as much as I liked enjoying it, training stopped, everything stopped, shows stopped.
The whole world stopped.
Everything stopped. So essentially, to me, it felt like I had
technical difficulty. Stand by. Go ahead.
To me, it felt like.
Hang on, we got a pretty important piece of fan mail from our buddy SK. What's up, SK? She's getting some fan mail. This is actually a first, getting fan mail during an episode. I want to put that clear. So, but anyway, you were saying about
so all the
following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Oh,
Eric, my man, tell him who's fighting.
I think they're doing a mic test.
That's okay. I'm sure they can hear us. I got the mics, my mics up as loud as we can. So.
Okay. So I was at Supreme Wrestling in Madison, Indiana. And my training while I was there stopped physically, but mentally I felt like I was still able to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to OVW Rise.
Because
shout out to Eric Cornish.
I felt
the following contest is scheduled for one fall.
We get a little bit of background action, folks. I apologize.
Introducing first, from either Kansas City or Las Vegas, the guy in the cowboy hat,
Eric, we can hear you in the background. We can hear you in the background. I'll make sure you get this video. But
So I was able to mentally still continue my training. I was
Check
able
one,
to watch
two.
wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I
the following
lived through it
contest is for
during
the
the pandemic
OVW Media Championship.
I bet he doesn't know we're on it. but
Probably does not.
it's okay. We can use a little bit of background noise. So
Yeah. So during the pandemic era, I really got to mentally grow my knowledge and my training and everything. So once lockdown ended,
Check one, two.
I felt like
Introducing first,
I didn't really miss a beat.
AJ McKay.
yeah.
He's
Now
the new #1 contender.
now you I've been watching some of your matches both in person and on the Thriller, and I was kind of wondering what inspired you to come up with your Queen of the Garden character. Can you just
The following
describe
contest
it a
is
little bit for us?
scheduled
Your
for
Queen of
one
the Garden character.
fall. Introducing first, from we don't know where, the excitement, J.J. Lawson.
You don't know we're on. You-
And his opponent,
I'm sorry, y'all, but you're
wearing his stocking cap in the middle of summer, from somewhere in Texas, Anthony Cantina.
I want to
We
get.
got it.
Yeah, we got it. I was just had to alter that. So, but anyway, you're
The following contest is scheduled for one
so
fall.
your Queen of the Garden character.
Introducing first,
what inspired you,
representing 67 children,
What inspired you to come up
De Niro.
with that idea, and what was your concept behind it?
So
And his opponent,
I have
don't
always
check his
had
pants
a thing
pockets,
for flags
they're not
since
his
I was
pants.
little.
The Eastern Villain,
I
Josh
experienced a family loss in 2020, right around the pandemic, and
I'm sorry for your loss.
at that point, that's what I have all this for. But I started thinking a lot about death and about flowers and about life and the progression and everything. And it really just took a toll on me. But in a way that was beneficial for me because it took a toll, but it gave me a chance creatively to come up with something. And I was like, hey, this could work. This is something that I'm into, and
Yes.
I feel like it's a part of me.
Who do you I know a couple of people were wondering.
I primarily use.
A couple of people were also wondering, as far as your journey,
You want me to just do my thing again?
have you, in addition to
Ladies and
professional
gentlemen,
wrestling,
welcome to OVW
do you have additional athletics in your background,
Introducing
like
first,
any kind of sports, or
Royal Morning.
like what's your athletic background?
So when I was younger, I did a whole bunch of sports. I did softball, soccer, track. Once the wreck happened, that I had the accident.
Ladies and gentlemen, please
Stop
welcome
for a
your
while.
Director of
I
Security
didn't end up
and
being
Fan
back in this sport
Experiences,
until
Mr.
I was at
Joe
school when I
Cooley.
did volleyball flags.
And that's one thing I was wanting to touch on in the video, your wreck. I know that must have been extremely rough, especially recovery.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you
and
so
we,
much for coming out
we
to
all-
the
we all wanted
OVW
to,
Quick Show.
We all wanted to
I'm
go
tired of my
into not the whole process, but we wanted to know that even though you may be fully physically recovered, by the viewers and as well as myself, we all wanted to know that you still are recovering mentally from it, because I know I understand you were revived from death,
Yes.
and we wanted to extend on behalf of the viewers. I wanted to extend our prayers and our hand for advocacy if you ever need help advocating for stuff like this. So if that's okay with you, I would love to extend my hand in gratitude and appreciation and assistance.
Thank you.
So, but anyway, as far as your wrestling career, who would you say up to this point in time, who has been your favorite?
Testing.
Like,
So,
who's been
what do you want to talk about?
your favorite person to work with thus far?
I'm a big
As far
dog around
as
here.
far as in ring competition.
Oh my gosh.
Just keep it going. I mean,
That's hard. There's a lot.
bullshit.
I know.
Why don't you get in this ring
But
right here?
I was-
before Go ahead.
Cute man.
I would say my favorite so far
I ain't
probably
drinking that Kool-Aid,
was when
Bubba.
I got to face Billy Stark.
You seem like you look.
You
Put a little bit
face Billy
extra sugar in
Starks.
your Kool-Aid.
Yes, that
That's what it
was-
looks like to me.
Oh gosh, that was like 2-3 years ago.
Wow.
I think almost 2 years ago. I got
Oh,
to face
everybody,
him.
turn off your television
I know this
screens.
question wasn't planned, but what was it like
Lee
working
has
with her?
come into the building.
It was intense.
What he said. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was intense.
I bet it was.
It was very nerve-wracking,
Windstorm.
very scary to me because I was just very nervous about it. But
Right.
she was so nice, and it was great. And we had a great time. And it was one of
I
the
was so pumped
easiest
on
matches I've
Daring
ever had.
Icon.
In terms of everything, just flowed beautifully.
So here, I mean,
Well, I'm glad
are we
to hear
doing
that.
this right now? Do you guys need to talk about how
But another question I would like to have is, who would you say?
man around here.
Who would you say your
Yeah,
dream opponent would be? Like,
I've
you have a
got
dream
a couple,
opponent. Like, let's say you could call
couple
up in the
dudes tag team
future.
champions.
Is there anyone here you would like to work with?
Ashton and
Is there anyone
B
you could call
by my
up
side, but that
WWE or
doesn't,
AEW that you like to work with?
bring the fact that I don't need them by my side.
Who would be your dream opponent?
I can do this all on my own. And Anthony Politelli, Dustin Jackson, you guys are going to see that firsthand
I
right
would
here
say
tonight
probably-
in Louisville, Kentucky. And if you don't think that's right, if you don't think I'm going to walk out of OVW
There's a background noise, y'all.
tonight as the media champion, you must be blind, you must be deaf, you must be stupid, or you may just be from Louisville, Kentucky.
I would say probably.
Is that, hey, just shut
At
up.
OVW would be.
No, this is boring as what fans
We've
chant
talked
during
about
your
some
match.
tag matches and stuff, but I would like to face her one-on-one at some point.
Wow.
All right,
I
are we
would say
done
that
here?
One side of the ball game facing the other, and
Are we still working on the audio?
one of the most interesting.
Let me just figure out some more to say. I don't,
Outside of that,
Eric, why are you laughing? Is this just a
big time.
rib on me? Huh? Is that what it
I'd
is?
love to
Okay.
face Billy
Perfect.
again in AEW. I'd love to face Teagan.
Oh!
I'd love to.
Everybody, hide your boyfriends. It's AJ McKay.
Liv Morgan. Those are my
Continue.
top ones.
Right. Who would you say? Who would you Is there a certain match stipulation you like to participate in the future? Like if you had to create your own match stipulation and wrestle in it, what would it be?
My own stipulation. Oh, it would be a garden match. Easily. Garden match. It'd be.
You hear that? Hear that? If there was a garden match made, I would love to participate in it. So
Like a barbed wire match, but instead it's combined with thorns all over the road.
I strongly suggest we book that in the near future. So a garden match instead of the barbed wire, we use a thorn. So I know you have a lot of noise in the background, so I'm going to wrap this up here pretty quickly. There's a couple last minute fan questions. Where do you see OVW going in the next 5 years?
Oh gosh.
As far as with that new acquisition and just in general.
I mean, I hope honestly with the new acquisition, I hope it goes leaps and miles beyond where it is now. I hope it expands and maybe eventually they get to do shows in other countries.
I was going to ask that. Do you think you can see them going internationally? And if so, part two, what country would you love to wrestle in? Well, not just with OVW, but anywhere. If you had to choose one country or maybe two, where would you want to go?
Oh man, if I had to choose, I would love to wrestle two places specifically. I would love to wrestle in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I would also love to wrestle in, I think it's Asia is the continent, or maybe it's Europe. I get them mixed up.
Yeah.
But the Scotland, Ireland area, the UK scene.
That would count as Europe. So
Okay.
United Kingdom, but I can see either in the United Kingdom, Japan, and maybe even Mexico. I've asked for you in Mexico. And I noticed you're wearing a kilt. Do you have any Scottish ancestry in you? Or
Oh yes, yeah. My family history. Has basically. I went to an ancestry DNA test, and all the results said they were from Scotland, New Zealand, Sweden, Ireland,
Well, coincidentally, I too have some Scottish in me. I personally have Scottish. I've got a little bit of Moroccan, but it's mainly Sicilian Italian. So I am a three-quarter Sicilian Italian and about two-thirds. Not two-thirds, but whatever's left is a mixture of Scottish, Moroccan, and Polish. So, but that's interesting. I was kind of curious when we first met this afternoon if you had some. Uh, before we um, before we close, I do you have any special shout outs you'd like to give, or any advice to those who are up and coming in the wrestling business, as well as those who want to get started? Would you have any advice for them?
The only advice I could give is not to beat yourself up so much when you first start. Like, you have time. I mean, I know everybody starts at a different point in their life, different ages, but when you're in wrestling, especially if you're a young up-and-comer, you have time, so much time. And I wish I had kept that in mind myself when I started and not been so in my head. Right. Because if I hadn't, I feel like I could have launched off and started traveling and reaching places sooner if I had.
Well, I guess that's pretty much all the questions I have. I know you guys have to get ready for the matches tonight. But I want to thank you for sitting in with this. And I want to close by saying that I am the Rhino. This is the Queen of the Garden, Teagan Thorne. For more information on any OVW shows, go online to ovwrestling.com and look at some of the events. For more information on the OVW Academy, go to ovwacademy.com and they can help you get started for the ones who want to come up. So for Teagan Thorne, I am Rhino, the Artful Rhino. Subscribe, like this video, give us a shout out to anybody down here, especially Eric Cornish. Shout out to him for the tunage. Hit that notification bell like you're ringing for the main events. With that, we are just a few moments away from the doors.
Yes.
And I guess we'll let you go get ready for whatever action. Folks, Artful Nation, I am the Artful Rhino. She's Teagan Thorne. We are OVW. Tomorrow, Superstars Today. And we're going to kick it into OVW Rise and OVW Overdrive. Here we go.